Hey everybody, today we're going to be demoing the Line 6 Spider IV HD150 along with its nice mini foot pedal, and we'll see what kind of sounds we can make out of this thing. So the Line 6 HD150 is very common to find used in the marketplace, i.e. reverb.com, eBay, and even your Craigslist. These things are going very inexpensive. And you could buy these. I think you can buy them brand new from some places online for roughly $350, but usually you can find them used for about no more than $280, and I've seen them as cheap as sub $150, slightly under that. But needless to say, it's actually a kind of a hidden gem for various reasons. So if you want to have, number one, a backup rig, and this is something that you'd probably want to have just in case something were to happen in your backup rig. You could also have it as your primary rig. If you're gonna do that though, I would suggest that you definitely get the pedal and you start tweaking effects and even the amp settings inside of, within your computer, so that way you can dial in the tone even better. You can do a lot of tone dialing within the amp or on the amp itself, but it doesn't get you as close as you can if you were to download the new software that allows you to really tweak the amp both in pre and post settings, as well as add in your own effects and even assign those effects to your pedal. The amp comes with quite a bit of presets already, which is actually very hard to get to if you're just using this kind of dial here, just pushing and modifying. You can actually do a lot of it yourself on the amp, but completely highly recommend you to use the computer by simply connecting your USB output cable here into your laptop or desktop. So this amp is a solid state amp, and pushing 150 watts of stereo power out. It's reliable because it's just built very strong, and it doesn't have any tubes that you have to service ever. So I bought this amp used about 6 years ago. There's no decrease in the quality of sound or even the functionality, both internal and external. The knobs still work just the same way. Now, to be fair, I have not gigged with this amp at all. Kind of had it just first as my primary amp, and then my secondary amp just for play, just in case my tube amps failed. But again, it's never had any problems. The second thing is this amp was actually from 2009, so it's a fairly decently old amp per se, but it still handles very well. And as you can see, even I'll get more close up on this, but you can see that this amp still looks brand new. The cab, on the other hand, does not, but that's a different story. Regardless, the cab, definitely want to use a decent cab with this, something that's going to handle its power. It gets really loud. You won't need anything louder, or at least from a higher wattage than this. And if you do, chances are the venue that you're going to be playing at will actually mic your cabinet anyways, so you're not going to need anything much louder than what you have in this. And quite honestly, I probably would say you wouldn't need anything louder than 75 watts, period. With that being said, a few things that that goes unnoticed with this amp is that it has various options, quite a lot of options, especially for 2009. One of which is there's a little jack in the back, like a headphone input area that you could plug in your MP3 player or or what you have on your phone, right? Just plug it in back there so you can hear. You can jam along with something that you're practicing, and then the other thing is that you have a line out switch / headphone jack in the back as well. But in the front, along with this various effects, which I'll go into in a minute, you have this really cool quick loop. It's just it's a quick loop because I think it's about 10 seconds long of a loop. I'll have to dig into that further, but it's very, very short of a loop, but just enough to grab a few riffs or a few little, strums, so that way you can jam along with what music you're trying to make. Again, it has, if you're familiar with the Line 6 Spider amps, it has, the various lookups through here, right? And then from there you get quite a bit of different options, right? You get your delays, your flangers, your phasers, your echoes. You can adjust your distortion, your cleans, and whatnot. A lot of folks, I've seen a lot of folks, say bad things about this, about the distortion. I wouldn't say it's the best distortion, but it's definitely giggable distortion, if you will. It has enough power and as well as good volume that doesn't fade out as soon as you from any levels. You can increase the volume on this and decrease it, and the distortion sounds the same at any setting that or any volume that you have. The only thing that I would say regarding this amp in terms of a slight negative would be if you're looking for a true, say, Fender Champ clean sound, this amp is not the amp for you. It does have a decently clean sound. It does sound okay, but most of the cleans are just your basic cleans. It's not going to really stand out. You're not going to fool anybody by trying to dial in this amp in and make it appear as though you're playing out of a Fender Champ. But regardless, it does have some fairly cool cleans. One of the other cool things, again, these Spider amps are very much known for their effects, and it definitely has those in here that you can really experiment on. And again, if you use your computer or plug your pedal board into the computer, you can really dial in those effects really well based on the amp that you, or at least the amp model that you select. I have 4 settings that I have assigned to the pedal board that I've manipulated. I'm just going to play a few of them for you and let you guys hear what how this sounds to you, and even just a quick demo of this quick loop that this amp has. Quick loop, you just select the quick loop to engage, and then click one of your buttons on your pedal board to start recording. simple. Again, it's a fairly quick loop, but it gets the job done to just get a quick jam going or something in your head that you want to, add something else to. Again, it's just like a normal looper, except it's very, very short. I really like this amp for a lot of reasons. It's number one, it's very reliable. It's built like a tank. It's not going to fail anytime. On you. You don't get the notorious hissing sound that you would with a typical tube amp. One of the prices to pay when getting a tube amp. But you don't have that. You don't ever have to replace any tubes on it. It's plenty loud. It has a lot of effects, countless effects, and it really is a all-around good amp for what you're going to be doing. Assuming that you're playing a lot of heavy riffs, and it's also a really cool amp for ambient style music as well. Probably not the best amp for country music, I'll be honest, but I'll leave it up to you if you want to use it for that. But again, it's very, 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 very affordable, reliable, and it gets the job done. So that's all I have for this week, and I'll see you guys next time.